Hey, what is up, YouTube? How's it going, everybody? So I got a lot of requests and comments regarding me, or just requests asking if I can put the two panels side by side in game mode because of what I said in my last video on how I feel like the A95K dims a lot and when you go into game mode and versus the S95B. So as all my videos, I always put the S95B on the left and the A95K is on the right. So this is a perfect example. I'll show you the settings that I have. Well, that just for proof that they're both in game mode. But as you can see clearly, the A95K is definitely more dim when you're in game mode. And so I'm just gonna grab the remote control on the A95K. I'm gonna get closer so you can see. We are in game mode, and then on the the S95B, I will also show you that we are in game mode right there. So I'm gonna, all right, so here's the thing though. Never done this comparison before. I just it was just, personal opinion, experience, things like that out of just with the naked eye. Now that they're next to each other and they're both in game mode, it's actually interesting because although the S95B is clearly brighter. Oh, and by the way, I have both screens just to do a fair comparison. Color all the way up and brightness all the way up, gamma all the way up, just because I thought that was probably the most even comparison. I mean, I could do, 50-50, I could do whatever, but it's going to be the same difference no matter which way you put it. So I might as well just max it out so you can see what these TVs are or can potentially do for you at its highest, highest setting. So again, I'm no pro. So, I'm just learning as I go along. I'm shooting right now in 4K at 60 hertz on my camera. And what I want to show you guys is the difference though, because even though you do get a brighter picture with the S95B, as you can tell, I just feel like you do lose a more detail in the S95B versus the A95K. So I don't really know which way to really go. I personally like the S95B's brightness better when you're in game mode. I just feel like when you're playing, you want brightness, you want a little bit more punch so you can see better when you're playing, especially first person shooter games, things like that. I don't think a dim screen is really beneficial when it comes to playing FPS games, Call of Duty, Warzone, whatever you guys play. I personally don't play Warzone. I play multiplayer on any Call of Duty, no matter which one it is. I really don't care. Big fan, and I'm a little more old school that way. But the point I'm trying to make is when you go to the A95K, it, even though it does dim more, you don't lose as much color, which is weird at least in this comparison. So like if you look at Atreus, right? You see like his gear, the yellow in it, you see how it's actually like a really nice yellow that is really what it's supposed to look like. You go to the S95B, and you notice, yeah, it's yellow, but it's kind of like a white, like a washed out yellow, a little bit more white. um, so things like that, you kind of lose as far as the detail goes. Now, if you look at like the background of the mountain here, yeah, it's brighter. Don't get me wrong, but even though this is more dim, look how much more detailed it is on the A95K. You see what I mean? So there's always, to me, in my personal opinion, like some kind of sacrifice that you don't really notice unless you put them side by side, you know? So that's kind of my point here. But another thing here, I'm gonna put it into the game. I have the game up. So, all right. So, let's now. All right. All right. Let me get a little bit. I want to just do it from this angle. For some reason, I feel like this angle is a little bit better. But if you look on the S95B, again, it's brighter, as you can tell. It has but right off the bat, I mean, I don't even have to get close to show you the details. It just doesn't have as much detail, and it washes out the color. So at the same time, it's like, all right, yeah, it dims, and I don't like that. But if I'm playing more casually, you know, like for example, God of War, I really would probably prefer in game mode the A95K. Not that I really play in game mode anyways on casual games like RPGs or anything like that, because I just feel like standard mode is better. But you know, that's basically my point. So let me just get a little bit closer. I don't know if you guys can tell from this end, but if you look really close, it just seems like a little bit more faded, you know, on the S95B. And like the well on the bottom has a more orange look, like a washed out orange. But if you go to the A95K, you can clearly see in game mode, yeah, it's darker. It's definitely darker, but has more detail. So like if you look at like this area here, right? See all that detail? Right? And if you go to the S95B, there's a lot of detail, just the coloring is just washed out. So it's all personal preference or what type of gaming you're doing, in my opinion. Look at the well. You see how it's actually red? So that is what it's supposed to look like for the game. That is the intent. So again, it's just every single time I do these comparisons, I really come up with the same personal opinion as far as what I prefer, because it varies depending on what you're using it for, when you're gaming, how you're gaming, things like that, what you're doing, what type of gaming you're doing, you know, all things. So, you know, it really differs. Me personally, if I'm playing Call of Duty, I'm all over the S95B. I just love how the brightness really shows where the enemy is. Easier to, you know, point your gun at your target, things like that, when you're playing Call of Duty. And then when I'm playing casually, I really prefer more detail. And it's actually pretty amazing how in game mode, even though it's darker, the color volume is better. on these. So I think the camera is probably gonna make the color saturation look a little too much, especially because I put color all the way up. But I just wanted to show you guys, you know, um, just a cool experiment. So, all right, now I'm going to turn on the light, and I just want to. Another question that a lot of people had was, how are these two TVs in brighter areas with reflections? So here's my light, turning it on. Now I just want to show you guys something. See if I can catch it. Maybe I have to do it at this angle. Yeah, here we go. So you're gonna notice the reflection of my light on the A95K. I don't think I can get the right angle on it for the S95B, but let me just say that, yeah, I can't really. I will have to really just say that when the light's on with the S95B, I typically have this in a different room. I don't really see any reflection typically. And where I keep the S95B in does have more light. It has more rows of lights in the room. It has a lot more. It's a bigger room. It has a lot more light up above me that reflects down, and I don't see any reflections really. I feel like the more clear the whatever Sony or whatever Samsung or whatever Sony uses, the more because it's such a clear reflective panel that it helps with like the blacks a lot, but it doesn't help with the reflections as good as the anti-reflect, more of the anti-reflective screens that, let's say, the S95B is using, things like that. So yeah, so that's my personal impression. I have a question for a lot of you guys. Is as far as the CES 2023 goes, I know I've been all over YouTube watching a lot of it. Have you guys seen the new Samsung panels? What your thoughts are? If you think you're just going to go with a 2022 panel, or you're going to wait it out for 2023. They're making a lot of changes in some of the TVs, but nothing really spectacular in my personal opinion. And I think I might pass on something like the LGs, but I'm very interested on that 77-inch QD OLED that Samsung is coming out with. And they're making two different QD OLEDs, by the way, Samsung. One is going to have the One Connect box and a better sound system with more bass, and the other one is going to just be very similar to the S95B with a little bit more brightness, same design, things like that, and some improvements like the Tizen OS system is going to be a lot snappier, a lot better. They made improvements on how to access your inputs, and they also made another cool upgrade for Samsung. If you're gaming, there's like a built-in like crosshair type of something with the crosshair that you can actually implicate into your screen. So when you're playing competitively, you can up your game by using that system, so your aim is more accurate. So that's pretty cool too. I'm interested to see that. I kind of feel like that's a little bit of cheating, to be honest with you. But if everybody's going to start using it, then it'll obviously equal the playing field a lot better. So, but yeah, and that's my impression. So if you guys have any comments or anything, please put them in. I'm gonna turn off the light, and just to show you guys, it's really cool because like you see the ring around the pool or well there. You see how it's kind of just like washed out, looks a little plain, but look at it on the A95K, how it has like a glow to it, almost like a reflection to it, that makes it glow. So to me, that's obviously the more intent. And the crazy part is when you're in more of like a standard mode, or if you guys, I know there's people out there that like to put it in dynamic mode, like to make the picture really pop and max out. You'll notice it even more. And but I would say in certain modes like standard mode or even dynamic, I don't personally use dynamic too much. The color volume, like the color will pop more in the S95B versus the A95K. So it's like, depends on what mode you're in, depends on how you have your settings, but still, if you really maxed out everything and one-on-one, the S95B would actually win in that category. So that's that's my point there. So yeah. So all right, so now see, it does have a glow to it. I'm sorry, I guess that was like the screen kind of dimming down. It does have a glow to it, but it's still washed out versus the A95K in game mode. So yeah, so what do you think, guys? Please give me your opinions. Please let me know what you think about the new panels coming up if you've been paying attention. I'll keep you up to date with any information as well. I think next year will be the first time ever that I go to CES in Las Vegas, just because, this is something that I personally have like a love for, a passion for, and I like learning as I go along. And I hope you guys will join me in that process, because you guys are the first ones to, follow me, subscribe to me, and watch my videos and watch me grow. I think, and as I grow, I promise you guys, when I will have really cool giveaways for you guys, and that's just my way of saying thank you for your support. And that's a big deal to me. So I really appreciate it for you guys, and for you guys watching my videos and all your comments. You guys are literally the best, and thank you for all your help and your suggestions, because as you guys know, I am no pro, and you guys really throw out a lot of really good tips and tricks for me to maneuver into settings for any of these panels, the A95K, the S95B, the G2, all of them. You guys know these things, and I do try them, and then I do use them, and then I do tweak some of the settings on my own at the same time of using your suggestions and stuff too, because again, that's the cool part about these panels, is you can really get down and narrow down how you really want your TV to look depending on what you're doing. And that's the fun part about these TVs, is that you can do that, because in the beginning I was more of a plug and play kind of person when I bought these TVs. I never messed around with the settings, but now I like to learn it, I like to interact with it, and I like to talk to people so they can give me suggestions, and then I can show you guys, because a lot of this is a reflection of your suggestions, so, and tips and tricks. So thank you so much. I never calibrated any of these TVs, by the way. So these are kind of just settings that I did on my own, and I know I'm not the best at it, but I promise you guys I'm learning and I'm trying my best. And it's you guys, your suggestions, again, I know I said this 5 times in a row, is what really drives me to make these videos, because it's basically a turnaround. It's a give and take between you all and me, and that's how we do it. So that's what this channel is all about. So thank you so much, guys. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care.